everybody and welcome to another video. In this video it's going to be another review and I am going to be doing my top 10 games of all time. Now, as you know, if you've been on this channel since then, I did a sort of like top 10 games. It wasn't really top 10, it was top 7 I think games, where I sort of went through, I was like, oh, these are games I like, and sort of set the reasons forth why I like them for and sort of the order of them. And basically there's a couple of games in here which I don't think should have been on that list. First one is Clash of Clans, which is just another free-to-play microtransactions game. I've come to realise now after such a long time playing it. That's all it is. It's not a proper game. You play for it for 5 minutes, go, oh, well, my barracks are still training and I have to wait for 20 minutes. Oh, how do you get them done now? Well, you pay gems. Where'd you get gems? You have to pay real money. It's every single mobile game, so that's why it's not on this list, I can tell you now. I have picked 10 games which I think are, in my opinion, some of the best games I've ever played. As I said, these are games I've played, and if there were some games which I hadn't played that were on this list, then there definitely would be some other ones which I'd be putting forward. But yeah, I have not played them, so I don't think it's right to put it on this list. I shouldn't judge a game because I haven't played it. So the sort of criteria for this, I guess, not really, it's only really to do with how I like the games. It's not really to do with, because I was originally thinking it should be to do with how long I've played it, how many hours I've actually put into the game, but I don't really think I'm actually going to base it on that, really. I mean, it's kind of, like, how much I like it correlates to how many hours I've played with it, really. Generally, like, I'm not down to every single game, but I will be putting forward, like, first impressions and all sorts of stuff of the games which I really do like. So, without further ado, let's actually get started with this list. Number 10. Airport Mania First Flight. So, we're starting with a game which you've probably never heard of before. Isn't that great? But yes, Airport Mania First Flight is probably one of my most played DSi games, or DS games, or just of that generation. I think it must be. Or at least it's close, it's up there with the highest ones I played. Airport Mania First Flight is just an amazing game in what it does. I don't really know what it is. I'm trying to think whether it's like a, I know it's like not like a tycoon game. It's sort of like this level progressive thing. Basically what you do is you have, you start out and you're basically an air traffic controller, and you have this airport, and what you do is there's planes in the sky that you see, and then you basically just tap on them at the top, and then because they'll just be flying around, then you tap on the runway to land them, and then basically it gets more hectic from there. You get larger planes at the gates. You can basically buy more stuff. You can buy more gates for these planes to go at. But in the games, like when the planes are actually there, sometimes they'll need to have fuel or being repaired, sometimes none of them, sometimes one or the other, sometimes both. Just depending on the plane, really. It's sort of randomized, I think. You can also upgrade a bunch of stuff. So yeah, you can you get a bunch of upgrades and stuff that you can use to get money from it. You can get new gates. You can upgrade these gates. You can buy sort of like more like parking spaces just while you haven't got the gates there. You can buy little paint shops, and then you can paint the colours so you paint a plane to the colour which you want it, because these gates, what they do is they have combos. If you get 2 planes of the same colour, you get a 2 times combo, then 3 times for 4 times, goes up to 4 times, and it stays like that. You get more money from it that way. It's it's not really complex here, and that's the thing. It goes into quite a bit of detail, but not too much detail that it completely ruins it almost. You're going to be seeing quite a few of these on here. There's going to be quite detailed games, but not too detailed, just the right amount of detail for it. And Airport Mania First Flight did a pretty good job of it. There is an arcade version that was on the DS, which I also got. I can't remember what it was called. What was it called? I can't actually remember. I'll probably be on screen now if I can find it, but yeah, there was actually another version of this, but yeah, DS version, PC version, probably the PC version would be better to get now. Don't know if you can actually get hold of in fact no, you can't get hold of the DS version because they closed the shop with the DSi version. Just get the PC version, really get the PC version. It is a very, very good game. I mean like, it's a game which, it's not one of those, it's sort of not designed for the handheld. That's the only thing about it. The handheld is usually like a pick up and put down game like Mario and Pokémon and stuff like that. Airport Mania, because it's ported from PC, it's more of like a oh, do this, just sit down for, if you've got about an hour on your hands, you can just do that, and a couple of hours, you can just play that. It's a really game like that. It's sort of, how long is it? I think it's about 2 hours, like 1.5 hour, 2 hour game. It's yeah. Does take you quite far if you're trying to go do an all-out like walkthrough of it. Just get it on PC in some way, because you will love it, especially if you like planes a lot. Number 9. Sticky Ninja Missions. I'm going for the missions version of this game because it's sort of, you can couple it with Sticky Ninja Academy and sort of class up the whole series. Well, I decided to choose Sticky Ninja Missions out of all these because as much as I've played Sticky Ninja Academy a lot, and I mean years, Sticky Ninja Missions, when it came out of nowhere, and it has several quite big improvements. The improvements it has on it is the fact that there's now, it's a lot more simplistic for a start. The graphics they're a lot more simplistic in the fact that there's not too much detail and stuff, because that was sort of my only drawback from Sticky Ninja Academy. I mean, there was so much detail in the stuff, and Sticky Ninja Missions was a modern remake of it almost, and they basically went and said, we're going to remake this whole game and add a bunch more levels to it, and they did a really good job. What they did is they managed to add, like, all the different places. Because in Sticky Ninja Missions, it was, Sticky Ninja Academy, sorry, it was, oh, you're basically in a forest, you're going to go for this building, sometimes I go for a forest, sometimes I go through here. But it wasn't like Sticky Ninja Missions where it was like, go to this level. Like, there's all different areas. Some are in the city, some are in the forest, some are here, some are there. It's really, really good now. It's really, really good. Like, they've taken everything that Sticky Ninja Academy did and improved on it, and that's sort of what's pushed this game up for me, because Sticky Ninja Academy, originally, I think it was my second Cool Mask game that I ever played. I'm not actually too sure about that. I think it is, but, yeah, it's definitely one of my earliest played games, because I think it was, like, year 5 that ZDK first showed it to me. It was that long ago. If you can play it, I mean, it's free to you could just go on Cool Mask Games, just play it, just literally just go on Cool Mask Games, go all games A to Z, go to the N to R section or whatever it is, or no, like T to U or whatever, but yeah, just go into that section, find Sticky Ninja Missions, play it. I mean, even if you haven't done Sticky Ninja Academy, you still can get used to Sticky Ninja Missions, because, I mean, Sticky Ninja Academy, it would always come up with a tutorial, and it was almost just like, here's how to play the game, and we're gonna kind of show you the whole way through it. There's that guy telling you how to do stuff, but, I mean, with Sticky Ninja Missions, literally when you start the game, it doesn't know how to do it, it just says, it's got like a circle around you, it says like, click on the guy, click and pull and hold to pull the guy, to the ninja, you know what I mean. And then when you come across some guys, it'll just go like, you find, it'll have like the mission objective at the top, saying like defeat all these, or like defeat all the enemies with a combo, or get like these diamonds, crystals, whatever. And yeah, it will tell you it in a lot more simplistic way. It won't just bombard you with everything. But I mean, luckily in Sticky Ninja Academy, the tutorial's out the way, but I guess Sticky Ninja Missions is kind of pulling it down now. It kind of is, but yeah. Even still, the series combined is one of the best Cool Mask game series there is, and as I said, if you want, try Sticky Ninja Academy, but try Sticky Ninja Missions, because there's a lot more levels, you'll probably have a lot more fun with it. And if you play Sticky Ninja Academy and haven't done missions, go for missions. You will absolutely love it, I can guarantee. Number 8. Besiege. Besiege is one which I've only just covered. Especially at this time recording, I only recorded last Sunday, today's Tuesday, I think. Oh, a bit of Fleet history. Just remember that. Yeah. Besiege is one which I'd known about for quite a while. I saw NerdQ playing it and I was like, oh my god, I want to get this. Then I had a bunch of Steam money, then I got other stuff and I was like, why didn't you just get Besiege? And then it went on sale and then I had enough. So yeah, Besiege is just an incredible, incredible game. It's basically a sandbox builder, but also combined with levels. There's also like a sandbox mode. Basically it goes, we're going to have a bunch of things that you have to defeat. And now you just have to build your own contraption with blocks, weapons of all sorts of sizes, knives, bombs, spikes, everything that you can think of. And you can just build it in whatever way you can. You can make it fly, you can roll it on the floor, you can fling things, you can do all that you want with it. And the sky's the limit. And it just makes it so good because you can basically, it's not like, oh, you've got this character, go and defeat this thing, and then you have to try a new strategy to try and defeat it. It's like, You have to create the thing that destroys it. If it goes wrong, then it's your fault. Nothing to do with our game design. If you muck up, then you'll have to go back and you'll have to redesign it. I mean, half the time, it's very rare, especially in my cases, especially when I first played the level, it's very rare that you'll go to a level and go, oh, I know what to do with this if you've never played it before. Or if you played the other Siege levels, you won't go to a level and go, I know how to do that, I've got this machine. Or even if you do, even if you don't do that, sorry, you get a machine, a contraption, you make it, and then you destroy. That sometimes happens, but very rarely does. A lot of the time, you'll do it. You'll see a few problems. You'll start tweaking them, see if it works. It kind of creates another problem, so you have to fix that, and eventually you're just. It's a form of trial and error that you have to go through to try and get your machine to work as properly as it can, and then after a few tries, you'll eventually get it. And I mean, as I see on that Siege video, the last one, half the episode is, I think most of it is, simply because I just took forever on that. And that was the sort of thing with it. It started with, well, I can't exactly do this, so I'll have to destroy the thing down. Because that's the thing. You can go from one level to the next and go completely different. You can start with something which you need to fly over and destroy a bomb or something, because it says, destroying 90% of this building, and then or this, structure or whatever. And then you'll go to the next level where it will say, oh, you have to kill 90% of these guys. And then you have to destroy it all down and just create a massive murdering machine of death, as you saw in that video. So yeah, it is just an amazing sandbox builder combined with the levels. I haven't done the sandbox mode, but I mean, I've seen people playing it and it looks very good. It really does, but even the levels, even if you just play the levels like I have, it is still so good, because even it's one of those games that if you can do it differently every time, you can go back and replay it and go, I'm going to do it differently this time. As much as there's some games like GTA 5 or something like that, where it goes oh yeah, in heists and stuff and doing scores, it's do you want to choose this option or this option? With Besiege, it's well, do you want to do flying thing? Do you want to do a flinging bomb thing? Do you want to drive to it and stab it? Do you want to drill it to pieces? What do you want to do? There's everything there for you to build, and it's just up to you to build it. It's just an amazing game. Just get it. Just get it. That's all I'm going to say, really. Number 7. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl is... this is the 2007 release on the DS, as I like the previous generation. Apparently it's on 3DS now. Well, I think you just put it in the 3DS, because it kind of works like that. Whatever. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl is my favourite Pokemon game by far. It is just... oh my god. I just love it so much. It's... for me, I haven't really played any Pokemon games, but I mean, I've seen the other ones. They just don't look as fun. I don't know why. You think it would just be the same game and they just have the stuff, but with Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, it's just... for a start, the music changes. Whenever you change setting, place, time, just you go from, you're in a little town, it plays some music. You go out of town onto the little road, it plays more music. You then enter another town, it plays music. You go into a building, that probably, the Pokemon Center, that plays music. You come out, it's turned nighttime, it plays different versions of that music. Wow, it is just, wow. And then there's just, all the Pokemon you get. I love how the story progresses. It progresses with just oh yeah, there's a professor, and you keep on going back to it. It's not like some stories where it starts out with this guy helps you for the starting bit, and then just that's the end of him for the rest of the story. He keeps on coming and checking you back, and then that Dawn person that's with him as well, his assistant, they keep on checking back up on you, which is really good. And then it's just you start out with your first Pokemon, and you just keep on going and going and going, progressing up. I just love just leveling up all the time, and yeah, I just love just seeing Pokemon. I just love it when you get just one-hit kills. You have I don't know, what was it? I think I had Monferno. That was the one that I picked. I always picked Monferno instead of fire Pokemon. And then I was trying to defeat. I think I was trying to defeat Onix or something like that. And then he's just a one-hit kill, and sometimes they're actually a level above you, or two levels above you sometimes, but you still take them out, and it's really, really cool. So yeah, it's quite fun to play. It's just so satisfying. It's just well, my Pokemon's 2 levels lower than you, and I defeated your Pokemon in 1 hit. What does that say about yours? And then in the battles with trainers and like gym leaders, or not necessarily gym leaders, they're like, oh yeah, well done, you defeated us. You're a good Pokemon trainer. The other ones, like the other trainers that you come across, like the picnickers, the campers, like the hikers, the random people you see there, you keep on battling. But the things they say at the end, they're just like, oh, I need to go back and sort out my Pokemon, and oh, I need to do this, oh, I need to do that. It's like half the time they're just like, no, I lost, pretty much in every single variation that you can, really. And it is quite funny, but yeah, Pokemon Diamond Pearl, you can still get it on eBay, loads of people are selling it, go get it, don't get the remake. I actually did have a look at the remake to see how it was, and it's 3D, like, I don't like the look of the 3D Pokemon games. I really don't, I just don't like the look of it. I love the top-down view. I just love that you could just, like, you were just on top of it, you have like these tiny little dudes, you're meant to be a kid and you're the same size as this fat bulky guy that's supposed to be about 40 years older than you. And it wasn't until you got like into Pokemon battles and stuff, where like you were like when it just like oh my goodness, it's like go Monferno or whatever you nicknamed your Pokemon, that you actually send out, and they're just like standing there. You'd like when you're battling a trainer or something like that, you'd stand there, then like the other guy would stand there, so you can actually have a problem with them. But apart from that, it's just the top-down view. And I love the top-down view of it, and then the fact that you can just explore and find like all sorts of potions and random stuff around, it's just I love it. And the Pokemon abilities, which you can use to like break stuff, like if you want to try and get somewhere, there'll be things like trying to cut trees down to get into secret little passages and stuff like that. You can go get that. You can get in caves, like things like Rock Smash. I think there's Matchup that uses that. What's the one that uses Cut? I don't know. In fact, no. Like I think Matchup does just learn it anyway, but I think it's one of those things that if you can get it, like, what is it, is it TM or HM? I don't know, but one of them, yeah, you just get that, you can just allow them to learn it, and then they can just, yeah, they can just use it for you, and it's quite useful. One thing that I did in that game, which if I play it again, because I haven't played it for probably 2 years now, that if I would do differently if I went back to it, was the fact that I never trained up my other Pokemon. I got other Pokemon, I was just like, nah, I just trained up Monferno and then Infernape when it came out. And when it came out, when it evolved into that, or like Chimchar, well, like Chimchar, Monferno, Infernape. But yeah, I mean, I just didn't train the other Pokemon, that was it, and they were like level 5s, and then Monferno was like level 30. And it didn't make any sense. I should have really let them train out, but what I should have done is I should have got something like XP share, or experience share, whatever they call it, which allows you, like, when you win battles, they also get XP without fighting, so they can just bring up to your level. Just like if you're like level 25 and they're like level 12, you can just like gradually allow them to get out without having to get them defeated all the time in Pokemon battles, and because then it would just be really annoying that you'd have to like scrounge through long grass and stuff like that to just come across wild Pokemon, try and defeat it and get it, or like trainers gamble that you're able to actually defeat them. Because I mean, sometimes if you just like use like one move and they hurt it down really far, and then you can just let it faint, and then you just get out like your really strong Pokemon and then just finish it off. That's like the XP out of it, I think. But well, I should have done it like that, but I didn't really, and that led to my downfall in the game. But still, I love the game so much. You should get it. I'm gonna say that with all these games because they're just good. Number 6. Awesome Plains. I was kind of struggling to see which one would actually get out of the top out of Awesome Plains and Diamond Pearl, and I was having to think about it, and I think that Awesome Plains is just better. Like, as much as Pokemon has like its complexity in that, I think the thing that pushed it over for me was just the style of the gameplay. Like, Pokemon is just quite slow sometimes. You're just like, oh yeah, battling this trainer, battling that trainer, you're gradually progressing through stuff. Awesome Plains is just like, well, get in, shoot these guys, bang, 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 oh, he's dead, oh god, there's another one, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh my god, there's another one on the floor, what the hell is that? There's a tank there, there's a Dalek there, it looks like a toaster, and I've died. And that's how the game goes, and then you just gradually upgrade your stuff. It's Pokemon compressed down to 15 levels. You can complete the game in half an hour, and that's what I love about it. I only just discovered it like 2-3 months ago. Like, I haven't been playing it for that long, and I have put quite a few hours into it. It's been my most played Core Mass game since like Sticky Ninja and that. I mean, like, the other games I'd find, and I think, oh, that's cool, play it sometimes. Like, Run 2, this was originally on this list before I swapped it out, because I thought it wasn't as good, because I found some other games to do. I could put in, which you'll see about later on. But, yeah, I mean, I just thought that Awesome Plains is just, I mean, it's in the ranks, and what would it be? It's probably then my third favourite combat game? Yeah, I think it is. My third favourite Core Mass game, and I'm going to stick with that. Like, Sticky Ninja is in second place. Try and guess what's in first place. You'll probably know what it is, I should think. But yeah, I mean, Awesome Plains is just so good. Like, what happens is just you start out with your minigun, you start upgrading that, and then they start getting a little bit stronger, and a little bit more stronger, and you think, oh my god, they're not going to be able to do it, I'm not going to be able to defeat them, and then you have enough money to get the rocket, and you go, oh, I can defeat all of these, and then they switch to the rocket, and you're like, what? So then you start battling them, you're like, oh, this is not as bad as I thought, and then they start getting up to the same level, it's the same thing, it's like, oh god, I'm not going to be able to defeat these next level, and then you have enough to get other things, you have enough to get more armor, you have enough to get like higher afterburner, so then you can boost further and longer. You can get the bomb cluster things, which you can just like drop on the ground. You can then possibly get the plasma thing, which I don't. I usually just go straight for the laser, so I'm half the time I'm just stuck on the rocket for ages and ages and ages and use the plasma. To be honest, the opponents don't actually use the plasma. They use a minigun at the start, then they use the rockets, and then they're on the rockets for ages and ages and ages, like half the game almost, I should think. In fact, probably something like that. Maybe almost half the game, but yeah, quite a few levels are like that, like 6-7 levels, maybe? I think that's pushing it. Probably 6 maximum, but still, yeah, they're just on there for quite a few levels, and then after that it's just the laser, and then I just get the laser, and I just absolutely annihilate them all, and it's really funny. And I love it. Again, as I said, it's just an amazing game. You can complete it in half an hour. That's what I just love about it. It's just one of those games, like DS games and stuff like that. It's just meant to be like, oh yeah, pick up and put down games. Awesome Plains is just, well, I've got a spare half an hour. Let's go and shoot all these guys up. Because I have nothing else to do. It's one of those type games, and those are the sort of games which I love. I just love these sort of short, nice games. It's also free, so you don't have to pay any money for it. Which is always an up in life, isn't it? Number 5. Plants vs. Zombies. We're kind of now getting into games which I've played quite a considerable amount, and Plants vs. Zombies was probably the first. But yeah, Plants vs. Zombies is, in my mind, probably one of the most famous games ever released. Like, it's up there with things like Mario, Minecraft, Pokémon, it's up there with things like that. Where it's just incredibly popular, and it has just revolutionized the game industry. Like, the things it just does so well. Like, I just love how it kind of ramps up the level design, because it starts with, oh, you've got these plants, and then you just have to defeat all these zombies, so you're literally like, oh yeah, just defeat all the zombies, like this, you do that level, then they start getting progressively harder, you're like, oh, there's a few ones with like hats and stuff, and then eventually it just gets to like guys with running poles, you're like, oh god, I'm probably not going to survive the next bit. It's also a bit like, oh, I know what to do now. It's sort of a master of that. It sort of knows when you've got used to that same level design, and then it shakes it up and goes, right, now you're going to do it with nighttime, where you aren't getting any sun drops from the sky, and you have to rely on entirely on your sunflowers to try and battle all these, unless you use mushrooms and stuff. And mushrooms in that are my lifeline. Or the puff shroom things, like we say them. But yeah, they are my lifeline in those, because I can never really get enough. They are my lifeline because I'm trying to save up for like pea shooters and stuff, and like sunflowers, and then zombies are coming, and then I can just like place them there. And usually, because they're for free, you can just place a line of them. Usually I just dig up most of them that I put down. I usually put like a line of them, and then eventually they grow into massive ones. But I mean, I usually put in just like a few of them to just like hit all the zombies like quite early on. A lot of the time I put it like almost nearly right in front of them, and then I'll put another one behind it when they start getting close to that, so that can start firing, and then just like gradually work my way back, and then I'll eventually kill them. Like, eventually become a master of that. And then he goes, oh, you're a master of that, are you? You think you can do it? Well, now you're going to do it on the roof! And you're also going to have flying ones as well. So, yeah, it's just, oh my god, I love it. I really love it. I mean, it's one of those games. I mean, there's this game called Xylem, which is like cool mass games for adults, really. And you can sort of play the games online, which is kind of like most of the features, but not all of them, and then sometimes you can just like download the whole game. Like, I was thinking about that, but I mean, Plants vs Zombies I played on Xylem originally, like, that's why I didn't know about, like, the Torchwood things and things like that, because, I mean, I knew all, like, the general stuff. I knew you had, like, your sunflowers, like, your pea shooters, like, all the different types of pea shooters, apart from, like, the triple guy. Like, you had, like, the squashy guy, you had the wall guy, you had the one that chomps and eats the plants. What other ones do you have? And like the puff shroom and stuff like that, and like the I think it's the toadstool that can give you light at night as well. But I then played it about a year ago with ZDK when we did our multiplayer, and I started seeing other stuff, and I was like, "What's the Torchwood?" And then that sort of opened up my whole review of the game, because I knew it was like a game. I was just like, it's one of those games which I just know about, like Pokemon or Mario or something like that, which I played a bit. I played quite a lot on Xylem, but yeah, like that was all the extent that I knew it of. I didn't actually know I was going to go further than that. And then, yeah, like the multiplayer is so good. It's one of those games where I think the multiplayer is a lot better than the single player, simply because we're just scrambling around. Like, ZDK he'll usually have all of like the sunflowers and the upgrades and stuff, and then I'll have all the pea shooters and stuff, and then when I say and stuff, I'll have all the weapons and like, well, when I say weapons, I mean like pea shooters, what else, like squashy guys and stuff like that, and I'll just help out, just trying to get them, like, all the zombies down. Oh yeah, and like the cherry bomb things, I just love those cherry bombs. But yeah, I usually just have them, and that just clears them, but it's just amazing, where we're just scrounging around, just going, oh my god, what do we do, and then the level's done. Number 4. Truckload of 4. My most played Cool Mask game ever. By far. Truckload of 4, also the first one I ever played, and as I said, we're starting getting to the really big boys in terms of gameplay, like the amount I've played the games for here. And Truckload of 4, as I said, my most played Cool Mask game ever, also the first one that I ever played. It was Adam Baker who got into me. He was originally AP Vlogs and then changed his name. Why do people change their names? He got on me. But yeah, he originally showed it to me in year 4? Was it really that long ago? That was like 2012. It might have been year 5. For some reason I think it might be like late year 4, which would have been 2012 for me. And even if it was, it would have been 2014, at least year 5. I've been playing this game for 4 years! At minimum. Wow. But yeah, this game is just incredible. As I said, my most played game, more Cool Mask game ever. Simply because it's one of those kind of like grindy games. I mean, it's all just like, do this level, you got this, just do the level. Like, it's the same objective every time, but it's got like different level design half the time. Truckload of 4, just like the way that these levels are done is just really, really good. I just love the fact that you can just go from one level to the next where it almost is completely different. It's a bit like the Siege. Like, that's the sort of levels I like. I don't like the same thing over and over, like, too much. I mean, Awesome Planes is an exception to that, and Plants vs Zombies, simply because they ramp up, sort of like the upgrades and like the different opponents and stuff. But other than that, there's the same thing over and over again. Just do this, like, do the thing, kill the thing, or defeat all the enemies or whatever. It's the same thing really. And then there is like that with Truckload of 4, but except all the levels are different. Almost all the levels are different. It's the same objective, but it's a lot different to get there. Like, the first tricky level for me is the one called the Tricky One, quite obviously. And yeah, if you saw my Bob's Infuriation on that, which was quite a while ago now. But yeah, I was failing at trying to do that, and it was really annoying. I have understood it now, but I remember when I first did that, I was like, how the hell did you get past that? I was honestly stuck on that level for ages, and I think it was only year 6. Was he year 6? I think Adam did it for me, I don't know. He basically did it for me, I think, but yeah, he just really just like put me into that game, because he was the one that actually told us, because it was me, said DKing, because we're kind of friends, and yeah, he was the one that introduced us to the Cool Mask games. He was the one that really made Cool Mask games just the thing that everyone plays at school. He honestly did. No one was playing it like that. No one was ever playing any games. It was just like, oh yeah, we're doing ICT and stuff. Then he did that. Then we started going in the ICT suite at lunchtime, because we had to ask the head teacher to do that. we'll just be playing that and just like playing other games. Then ZDK found Sticky Ninja, as I've said, and then I found other games. I found Truckloader 3, which at the time I was like, oh yeah, that's, and I was like, oh yeah, that's better. And then people started playing it. They were like, yeah, that's better for like a week. And then I was just like showing them to do it. They're like, oh yeah, but I mean, literally everyone was doing it. Truckloader 4 is just such an iconic game for me. It's what Cool Maths Games is in a nutshell for me. And I know like it was the first game I played, but it just seems to be like that. It seems that it ties everything together. Like every single game I've played, it features a bit of it. It features bits like Awesome Planes, where it's sort of like the same thing, trying to complete the objective, the same objective, but gradually it's getting harder and harder to try and do that. And then it's taking things from things like Sticky Ninja, where it's slightly different every time. Like you'll have different levels every time, and there's even taking. I was going to say things from Besiege, but it's exactly the same thing, you idiots. But yeah, then like the physics with it, it's just. The thing that made that game for me was when I first found out that you could like drive on the truck after you put the box in, because you'd always put the box in and it's like, get off the truck, mate, and then you can actually go back on it and you could just go in the truck and then just drive off with it. Like, you can just go in the back with it. It's amazing. I mean, like, on Truckloader 3 and 2, that's not on there. That's the only drawback of those games. I mean, Truckloader 4 is just a massive improvement over all of them. And I've played the series now. I've tried to find the original Truckloader, but I can't find it. But yeah, Truckloader 4 is the best Cool Maths game ever made. My most played one by far. How many hours have I put into it? Oh my god, I don't actually know. 50? Maybe 100. Don't think it's quite 100. It's probably about 50, I'd say. Yeah, I played it like that amount. Really have, but still. This is why I play this game so much, because they're amazing. And again, this game you can just play without having to pay for it. As long as you have a stable internet connection, which I do sometimes, you can play it. Number 3, GTA 5. GTA 5 is just one of the best open world games I have ever played. Well, it is the only open world game I've ever played, but it is still extremely good. Like, the first thing for me is just the level of detail that the game has. Like, you're going anywhere, you'll crash a plane, and if you've got like invulnerability or something, or like you'll be driving around and you'll crash the car, you'll fly out the windscreen, your car will be broken, there's no cars anywhere. You flung out around, you're in the middle of the countryside, and then you're just looking around and you're just like, how long did it take for them to put this detail in? Like, when did they first announce it? Was it like 2008 they first announced it or something? I don't know why that springs to mind. No, I know the first trailer came out in 2011. That was when the first trailer came out for it, so they've been working on it probably 2 or 3 years before that, so yeah, probably about 2008 is probably the best guess. It's nearly 10 years old, if you think of it in that sense. The level of detail they put in it, like, I just love the fact that you can just, like, you don't have to follow the story, like, if you don't want to, like, I mean, you'll have to eventually, but, I mean, as in the way that you don't have to follow it, like, constantly. It's not like, well, you completed that bit of the story, now go do this bit. It's like, we completed that bit of the story, you can go here to start the next mission, but if you want to go and just go away and just, like, fly a Boeing into the sea, then you can do that. You can still do that. You can crash a car into a police car and then just get a wanted level. You can start blowing up helicopters, blowing up planes, steal a fighter jet from the military base. You can do whatever. You really can, and it's just such an amazing game in that sense. I just love the way that the missions are built. The thing about it is, there's the main storyline, but like all the characters, for a start, they're like it's built like a TV show where there's 3 different characters. It's not like following the same character. You've got 3 different characters, so if you're bored of one, you can kind of go to the other. It's not like, oh, I've got to stick with this character to get through the game. And like, if you disagree with it, you don't have to play with it as much. Like, you'll still have to play the story, like fully, just to like get through it. But I mean, you can play with predominantly, if you don't like Trevor, you can play predominantly with Franklin and Michael. Like, I mean, Trevor's not exactly the best character in my mind, but I mean, my favourite one's probably Michael, to be honest. Like, you'll just be driving around, like, trying to find one, you go to one, and there's this random guy just like, hey, do you want to shoot out some satellite dishes with me? Sure, we'll come up here. Oh, that was fun, do you want to do something else? Yeah. then you do that. Okay, then I'll send you a text when I'm ready to do the next one, and then you'll go there and do that. Like all of these, there's a few which are just like that single one, and then that's it. But I mean, there are quite a few of them are just like it's the start of almost like a mini set of missions, like a mini like plot between them almost, like alongside of the main plot. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. Like I'm not gonna count the online here, as much as I haven't played it, and it's full of microtransactions. And if you know me, you know that I don't like microtransactions. So, I mean, I'm probably not even gonna touch the online too much. I mean, I can't even anyway because I tried to go on there, and then it's telling me to get these packs or whatever. I tried to get the packs, and it's just like, no. That was fun. But yeah, even still, the game is just such a good open world platform game. You can do whatever. I mean, it covers a whole wide range of interests. If you're interested in cars and you want to custom your car and just like get it as best as you can, then you can do that. If you want to try and dress up yourself to try and just like try and get the best clothing you can do. If you're like me and you just want to fly around planes for the different airfields, you can do. It's full of interest. Like there's everything that you can think of. There's so much stuff in this game. It's full of detail. As much as it's compacted to like this island, which is in theory like 10 by 10 miles almost. I mean, it's still just an incredible game, which I love to pieces, and will do for probably the rest of my time playing it. Quite obviously, you know what I mean. Number 2, Air Tycoon 4. Well, now you probably know what number 1 is, but I'm going to explain this anyway. So yes, Air Tycoon 4 is my second most playing game of all time, by far. It outweighs, like these two games, this one and number 1, are by far my most played games ever, like of all time. I mean, GTA 5, how many hours have I put in GTA 5? Probably 100 hours. This game I've probably put into close to 400 hours in. Probably more like 500 hours. I have played it a bunch, as you can tell with this series that I've done. I mean, if you just think about it, what is that? With this series that I had, I did 76 episodes in my first series. Most of them are about 25 minutes long, like average it out on what most of them are. So 25 times 76 I can't do. So that's whatever that is in minutes, and then you can put that to hours. Then you've got all the episodes which I've done in Jet US, which are also about 25 minutes. How many episodes have I done? 37? Or 38? What? I have played, I mean, even with that, I've probably played it for like 100 hours over. And that's just a fifth of the time that I've been playing the game. I mean, it's just an incredible game. Like, there are huge chunks of it which are bad. Like, just bad. And I have pointed them out in that video which I done it. Like, the things with the AI, the way the game shouts at you after you've just got into the game, the fact that aircraft aren't modelled correctly, the fact that some, like, Coldport go out of production way later than they're meant to, and things like the DC-8, like, I get that the DC-8-72, there's some versions for that, but, like, the DC-8-62s and stuff like that, that's in production still in the 1980s, when it went out of production, like, the 1970s. There's things like that which do detract from the game, but in my mind, that if they were improved on, it would make the game so much better. It probably wouldn't get past, it wouldn't get to the number 1 slot, I can tell you that now. But yeah, it would make the game so much better, and I'd probably play it a lot more. Not that I've played it enough already, but... But yeah, Air Tycoon 4 is just such a good Tycoon game. Like, it basically goes, okay, you're gonna have to set up an airline, we're gonna give you quite a few things to, like, quite a few planes to try and buy from, and there you go. You can either set up a massive, sprawling, long-haul airline, you can set up one where it's low-cost, short-haul, you can set up one where it's trying to do all over, you can set up one where you're trying to use, like, low capacity on longer haul routes. You can do whatever. The thing is, you can just do things that normal airlines wouldn't do, like with me, putting a 747-400 on Chicago to Los Angeles and things like that. Like, in Jet US, like, things like that, I mean, you put no way the airline would do, like, they'd probably struggle to get up to a 767, I should think. I mean, probably most of the time to be a 757. I mean, I was thinking, like, I was just thinking about, like, Sully, like, the Miracle on the Hudson landing, that one, like, it was like New York to, oh, it was LaGuardia, but whatever. It was just like New York to Charlotte. It was an A320. I'd put an A300 on that. Or A330, or A350, or whichever whichever time in the game I'm actually playing it on, but still, I mean, I would just put those on. It is just such a good game. Like, as I said, there are quite large sections which could be improved by quite a mile. Yeah, it's still good in the fact that, yeah, you can just set up an airline. Like, it's so addictive. It's probably one of the most addicting games that I've played, probably as much as number 1, I should think. I'm struggling with the words to try and do it. Like, it's just so good. It's just so good. It takes everything that I'd want from an airline game. Like, as I said, there are quite a few things which I'd like to see in the game, but still, it covers 80% of what I'd want to see. It has good aircraft modding. Like, the aircraft, I mean, there's a bunch of aircraft which aren't there, but the ones that are there are modelled so good. Things like the 787, they managed to get the 787 wing. They've done stuff like Concorde, which I judge Concorde models and stuff like that. I judge it very, very quite hard on the shape of the wings. Like, the only criticism I have is the fact that they've used a tailplane. It's just like the little bump, like on the tail, there's like a little bump that comes out. It's like 2 different heights on either side, and it's the same side on there, and that's actually a different colour because it's meant to be the tailplane. Other than that, that is extremely good. Like, the way you can paint the engines is a little bit far forward, but apart from that, like, there's just such good modding on that. Like, I just love all the different events. There's like Olympics and World Cups and stuff, so then you know that yeah, if you want to increase capacity on your routes just for that period, because you'll have a higher profit on it. Like the random airline events that happen, like, you will just have like random hurricanes and typhoons and snowstorms and stuff, and then you'll have economic crises, you'll have oil price shocks. Like, with the amount of money that I make, the oil price shock I'm pretty much unaffected by. Like, at first it was just as bad as like the economic crisis, which is even worse, because that just gets rid of your passengers. It's still extremely good. Like the oil crisis before, as I said, it was exactly the same really, but now it's not, because I've just got so many routes, and like the amount of passengers I've got on those routes massively outweigh the cost of oil. I think it's because I just put such high capacity on these routes, and that's what's made my airline so profitable. Like, I've had to set up little, like, not as many routes as you probably would have. Like, if you try to do a conventional airline, like, have, like, maximum, like, probably 767 capacity, and that's stretching it. On short-haul routes, like 767-200, and that's about it. Like, 757, you'd probably have as your largest capacity aircraft. But still, I mean, like, that would be it, but you'd have, like, 747s on long-haul. And I just put, like, 747s on short-haul because of, like, the capacity and the demand for it. It's just a game where, I don't know, like, I'm gonna say the sky's the limit. The stratosphere is the limit, I'd say, and that's not really a pun intended, but it's sort of got that. It's good enough. It's quite good in itself. As I said, if these improvements came about, make it better. It's still a good game without them there, which is why I relentlessly play it again and again and again, and why I'm actually going to be doing a 3rd series on it, because I love it so much. Now, number 1. Minecraft. And was that really unexpected? Don't think it was. Really don't think it was. Oh, good grief. Minecraft is... Where do I start with Minecraft? You know Minecraft, you know it's good. Like, it's just the best sandbox game in my opinion. The best sandbox game. It basically goes, right, you're going to start this game. If you're in survival, you're just going to have to learn how to survive. You're going to have to collect all these items. You're going to have to try and craft stuff out of the items that in the place that we spawn you in. You can spawn in a place where there's loads of trees and can help you. You can spawn in the middle of the desert when there's nothing. You can spawn in the middle of the sea sometimes you can. You can spawn in the middle of an island, middle of nowhere. One time I spawned on a mushroom biome, which is kind of crazy. And then you have to try and survive. And we're not going to help you in any way. And I love that aspect. I love it because as much as tutorials do help, the fact is that if you discover something for yourself and learn how to do it, then it's almost a better way. I don't know, say it's this scenario. Say the game tells you how to do crafting. Like, it basically, like, if you turn off hints, like something that's like hints and stuff. Say you go in, you don't know how to make a pickaxe, for example. And then you're messing around and you're trying to find out how to get the pickaxe and then eventually find it. If the game tells you where the pickaxe is, don't just go, oh, it's there, and you'll forget about it. It's sort of the scenario of, like, give a man a fish or feed him for the night and then starve him for the rest of his life or whatever, and then teach a man how to fish and he'll be fed for the rest of his life. It's like that sort of scenario. Like, because if you're told where it is, you're going to keep on forgetting. if you learn where it is, if you find out for yourself, you're going to go, oh, it's there, and then you'll remember the path you took to get there. That's the sort of thing with it. That's why I just love the game so much, because it will just throw everything at you. Like, you'll be going for 10 minutes, you're like, oh, I've managed to get to grips with the game, I've managed to build some kind of shelter, which is about the least thing you can call a shelter. I've got a bit of food, I'm cooking some stuff, hopefully I'll be able to survive the night. Oh god, I've only got one piece of wool, I need to get other piece of wool. Oh my god, there's a zombie, there's a creeper there, dead. That was my first time playing, which was quite amazing. It was when I got Pocket Edition, that was when I first played it. April 2014, that was when I first got Minecraft, first got it on Pocket Edition. I have put over 1,000 hours into the game. At least 1,000 hours. Ever since I got Xbox, I've been playing it relentlessly. I mean, on Pocket Edition, I played it quite a bit on Pocket Edition. When I got Xbox, I sort of fell out of touch with it. Because, I mean, 0.9.0 was when I started getting detached from the game because they were adding so much more stuff. Like, because Pocket Edition, I knew the game from, like, 0.8.5, I think was the version before then. I mean, actually, I think it was 0.8.7. But, yeah, like, they barely updated it at all, and I just love the simplicity of it. Like, there wasn't really much. It was sort of constricting, but it was quite, like, I got used to everything in that game. I knew everything inside out. Then they started adding more stuff. They started adding potions and everything like that. And then I start to go to it. I'm thinking, oh, they added that, like 0.9.0. I think I got used to most stuff in there. In fact, I probably got used to all stuff. Because I like saw it from like other videos and stuff like that, like an Xbox and PC. And then they started adding even more stuff. And then eventually on like realms and stuff, when they started adding like servers, and when they started adding like redstone and stuff, that's when I became detached from it. I'm just like, what is this game turning into? What is it? And yeah, I mean, that's the sort of what's been going on with Xbox for me now, like ever since the end of last year, pretty much. And like, I know, like TU53 is the first one I've gone, oh my god, how much more are they going to add to the game? It's getting so complex, I don't really understand it now. For me, like, I don't mind if they add stuff, like add lingering potions, concrete, and do whatever with that, like add new blocks, fine, we'll use it, like add new mobs and stuff, add new like that woodland mansion and stuff, add new biomes, but don't change up the original. I mean, if there's bugs in it, then fine, fix it, or if there's something that just outright doesn't work and isn't fun to play, change it, but don't change something that's been ingrained. Like when they changed the combat, like people didn't really like that. And like in Xbox, the one what I hate, when they changed all the colour of wool. Why, they didn't need to change that, did they? They're just, oh yeah, we're going to make the wool brighter. Yeah, but you messed up all the colours that everyone had. They had really good colours, and it's pretty much it's pretty much as if someone's got like shaders or something like that, and they can't turn it off, or they've got like a different texture pack. Don't change it. I think it's really creative for me is what made it. Like survival, I kind of do, but creative is what I do. I just build stuff, like Dorchester Airport and stuff like that. Dorchester Airport is the most commitment I've ever put into a game in my whole life. Yeah, I've been doing it since, oh god, is it really nearly a year and a half now? Jesus Christ, no, 2.5 years, I mean. Where is my life going? Especially this year, it's July already. Dorchester is the most commitment I've ever put to a game. I'd say probably a third of all the time I've played Minecraft ever is on Dorchester. At least. I mean, I was thinking a quarter originally, but I'm going to push it for a third. I think it must be about a third of my time. I've played it so much. The only thing I'd wish they add is if they added on Xbox. How much time you played the game? Because I mean, I played PC. I've barely played PC for even an hour. I haven't played it that much. Like, in fact, the most time I played it was when I did that little world where I built like all my tutorial planes, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do tutorial improvements in here. In fact, no, it was when I built Jordan Code TV 700 tutorial, and then I just like tried to make it into some like cool little livery of like my own little company. Yeah, that's the most time I've ever played PC. I've probably only played it for 2 hours, if that. Or probably more like 3. I basically haven't played it for more than like 5 hours maximum. I've never played it more than that, but yeah, still. Like, Xbox, I've played it by far. Pocket Edition, I played quite a bit early on, but now I don't play at all. It's just a game which I could just relentlessly play, because every different time you play it is a different experience. It's completely different from every other game. You're not sitting down and going like, it's not the same objective, is it? Like, some people will argue that, and just like, oh yeah, you play some break blocks, you do this, you do that, it's exactly the same thing every single time, but yeah, it may be true, but it's so different for everyone. It's so different for everyone. You can have a completely different objective on the way that you want to go about the game. The game doesn't tell you that you have to go mining, or, like, it doesn't decide for you whether you want to go mining or whether you want to build a sheep farm. it doesn't tell you whether you should build your house next, or you should build a minecart system over to that other village which you found, which connects it with the mine shaft where you find a bunch of cool stuff. You decide that for yourself. It's not like any other game. Like, GTA 5 is sort of close to that, where, like, you can choose between the different characters and stuff, but Minecraft, everything is at your choice. Absolutely everything. Whatever block you place, whatever block you break, everything you do is at your discretion. Absolutely everything. The only thing that isn't is the updates that come out. But still, Minecraft is just the best game ever made, in my opinion. It really is. It's the second most downloaded game of all time, second most bought game. It's only second to Tetris, which it has about like 1 million versions come out every year apparently. Like, Minecraft hasn't had a remake. Has it had a remake? The only one is like coming out now, and Minecraft's doing like a Better Together update or whatever, where they're going to try and release like a new Xbox One version, but it's just going to be called like Minecraft, not like Minecraft Xbox One Edition or PlayStation version. It is just a game which has blown me away. It blew me away the first time I saw it. I was like, oh my god, I want this game in my life now. I can't remember. In fact, I think I found Clash of Clans before it. I think I did, I don't know, but I remember I was constantly going on about Clash of Clans, and then my friends were like, oh, I think Minecraft's better. You'll never hear that nowadays, would you? But yeah, Minecraft is just an incredible game, which, if you haven't got it already, just get it. Play it in some shape or form, even if they've changed it, even if they will change it, you'll still love it, you'll still get used to the core mechanics to it. Just, you can build whatever, or break whatever, or do anything. You can do anything. It's at your discretion, and it's why it's the best game ever made, in my opinion. Just play it if you haven't already. Please do. You'll not be disappointed. I can't speak at all, can I?